Paul Ashman, top 5 cookout foods. What do you got?
All right, so similar. Like I put chips, dip slash salsa slash 7 layer dip as like a runner up. I mean, it's definitely got to be there. I just didn't wasn't sure if I wanted to take a whole spot. Like if we were doing an official list, I had it at number 5, and then I was like, well, this should be a mention of the dips. I would say 7 layer dip if you had to choose one, but that's an honorable mention, I would say. I would put like a. I'm not going to choose between these. I think they're all. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I think they all work. If they're all there, I'm not really sure which one I would choose. It kind of depend on the day. But a potato salad slash pasta salad slash slaw, something a little lighter, something that's non-meat sweats, add to the plate, I think, and then it gives you a base as well with some carbs, at least the potato and the pasta salad. So I think those are good. I was looking for kind of like I'm not a big dessert guy, but some sort of sweet twist. But like, look, let's be honest, I'm not gonna like, depending on the cookout, sitting there, kind of like a Horvey thing with the wings. I don't know if I just want to chow down on a corn cob, and then have to like get the corn like stuck in your teeth and all that. So
Bring
I'd
your
say more like a
floss.
yeah, like a corn salad or an elote. If you want a little, Mexican flair to it, that always, plays. And then I knew Sam was going to go hard on the pulled pork. Well, spoiler, whoops. But I'd say any kind of sliders. And if I had to choose one, I would say some sort of pulled meats. Like I would say either a pulled pork or a pulled chicken. Pulled like a slider burger, sure. But I would put those two ahead of it. And again, kind of these smaller portions, so you can have a little bit of everything. You're just crushing burgers. You're gonna be pretty full pretty quick. And then, as far as pacing yourself with all the different options, that gets a little bit tougher. I would put barbecue chicken, classic drumstick for me. Or if you want to go knife and fork on like a chicken breast, that's always an option too. But I would say with the barbecue sauce, like that would be there as a staple as well. And then I thought like this one's kind of like you could go skewers with like a shish kebab. I think that's always a strong like mix of whether steak, chicken, veggies. I think that's a good mix there, good option. And then, or if I was going to go steak, I don't think I'd go like ribeyes, but I would do like a flank steak. And then you got the strips and slice it up. So you could either do steak on skewers or like a flank steak, but not more of a steak, a smaller version of steak than just a whole like slab of like a ribeye.
I think you guys both have really solid lists. I also love that Paul put 8 things on his 5.
I realized that. I was like,
Like,
well, maybe this, I guess that.
Paul's
Use a
number
lot of
5 had 3
parentheses.
things. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I like that is, but here's the thing. So cookouts for me are mostly me cooking. So I eat on the go. Like I'll eat off the grill. I'm trying the meat out, make sure everything's good. Most guests are making a plate, and I think you guys both have very balanced, colorful plates. My list, I have baked mac and cheese number 5. You got to do it right though. You got to finish it in the oven and broil it. Get that like not burned, but that crunch on top. And then you dig in. You got the gooey cheese with the half and half. I like the baked mac and cheese. Number 4 is something I picked up. I was watching the Food Network about 3 years ago. This might sound disgusting, but it is at every cookout I've had in this house, it is the first dish to go. Apple pie, baked beans. You get the Bush's baked beans, no sugar, and then you add a can of apple pie filling. Little barbecue sauce, bacon bits on top. People are, I don't want to say offended, but they're disturbed. And then they try it and they go back for seconds and thirds. It is literally the first dish that goes at every cookout. Very popular. I went Andy Molitor. I went 3-2-1 meat because I'm making all the meat, smoking the meat, no pun intended, and eating it before everybody else does. So I go lemon pepper chicken. It's like a 2.5 hour smoke at 250. Comes out unbelievably juicy, but the outsides are crunchy and crispy, and I do love lemon pepper. Number 2 is a brisket, and number 1 is a pulled pork. For those that don't smoke, I learned this the hard way. You have to let this thing rest. Like if you put a 15-pound pork shoulder on for 14, 15 hours and just take it off and try and whack it, the meats, the heavy meats, the briskets and the pulled porks, anything like 10 pounds or higher, it has to rest for at least 2 hours. And that pork that you pull off, say you pull a pork off at 4 and you try and take the bear claws, it is so tough. You're going to hurt your forearms trying to pull the meat apart. If you wait 2-3 hours, you put the bear claw in and it collapses. So you have to rest these heavy meats, the briskets and the pork shoulders. But I do the pulled pork 2 ways, Paul. I give you the tongs if you want to just eat it normally, and then I do Hawaiian rolls with the pickles. So if you want to make a sandwich, go for it. If you want to just eat it with your hands or a fork and knife like a Neanderthal, you can do that too. You got variety here. But I went meat, 3, 2, 1. We need to have a cookout. I don't know where and when, but this needs to happen.
Joe's house.
Yeah. I think it's Joe's. Joe's got the pool. I mean, and he's, he'd be happy about that, I'm sure. Bring the whole neighborhood. Maybe after if they actually win the championship, maybe he'll be in a better mood. Whoops. Sorry, Joe. One that I didn't include, but I thought about it, and Andy actually mentioned, and kind of the corn cob corollary, I would say, ribs. Like, delicious, but messy. And again, it kind of depends on the cookout setting, but that is one, especially if we're doing, and again, spent a couple years in Texas. I appreciate the dry rub approach, but also I like some barbecue sauce ribs as well. And especially if it's the saucy kind, you're making a mess a little bit. And that's more like, I maybe just want to hang out at my house or at a restaurant and clean it up after that instead of standing there. Yeah. Just crushing ribs in the middle of in Joe's backyard and then going for a swim.
We could do ribs. The only reason I didn't put ribs on here is because I already have the pork and the brisket.
Sure.
So it's kind of like barbecue. Not that I do barbecue brisket, but homemade sauce though, hopefully on the ribs. I like Sweet Baby Ray's, but make your own sauce. It's not difficult.
And Gertch, strong pull. Brats and sausages. I always, even at a ballpark or a barbecue, I will probably go brat or sausage over hot dog. But maybe that makes me fancy. I don't know. But good call.
Always said that about you.
I had a guy at one of the last cookouts we did. There was all this meat, and we had mac and cheese, potato salad, coleslaw, Brussels sprouts, and all the meats. And he brought a salad. He was one of those guys that goes out of his way to tell everybody at the party, hey, I brought salad. And the vibes were so bad for that guy. There's meat, there's sides, there's mac and cheese, there's all this good stuff. And he's like, hey, try my salad. Don't be try my salad guy at my cookout. Don't do it, Jake.
What? I feel like that was a ricochet shot that I didn't really deserve.
No, anybody shows up with a salad and is try my salad.
I mean, you could bring the salad guy, but you can't be standing next to the table being like, hey, you see
hovering over the salad with a spoon. Hey, do you want
serving?
Yeah. That's why I came here, for salad. If you have a barbecue or a cookout food that you like, you can share it with us at vet_sweats. Good, bad, indifferent. Gertch also letting us know that chicken breasts over thighs every time. I don't know that I agree with that. Yeah. I don't know that at a cookout. I don't know, man. Good chicken thigh goes a long way. Paul Aspen's list: 5 lines, 8 entries. Top 5 cookout foods.
Game in the system.